think every cartoon fan knows the feeling of finding a show, not even a perfect show, but a show with some kind of really strong concept or great character dynamics that you just fall in love with. You spend so much time engrossed in the world of these characters and feel like kind of a changed person after the experience. But then you can only find like 3 people online who share your same passion, and before you know it, the show's season deal has been spliced in half or it just gets canceled altogether, crushing your spirit forevermore as you wonder what could have been. Battle Kitty is a Netflix interactive series released in April 2022, following the feisty kitty and their cautious best friend Orc as they escape their awful lives on Orc Island and embark on a quest to defeat every monster on Battle Island using magical power-up bows, which is amazing, and become champion. Champion. They deal with rivals and obstacles presented by the world or just Kitty's lack of training along the way, but they never forget to have fun on their quest. You guide the heroes through a positively adorable Mario-style interactive map where you can pick the order in which episodes play, as well as a lot of them being optional. Side quests, if you will. With its breakneck, wacky approach to comedy, strong video game influence, and upbeat characters and overall vibe, Battle Kitty is kind of like someone threw Miitopia and classic SpongeBob into a YouTube boot blender. If that already sounds amazing, then go watch it! But then come back and finish this video, okay? I genuinely think this show is fantastic. All of its huge ambitions with its presentation and the structure of the world map, something that has never been done with Netflix Interactive before, are executed extremely well. It also helps that the writing consistently made me laugh and cry and grow to really love these characters. Look at my babies! And I'd really love to take a deep dive on such a great show, as I don't think it's getting even half of the attention and praise it deserves. A quick note, I'm not going to spoil any of the main story of Battle Kitty, but I will be talking about a handful of the episodes in full detail. I mention this because I think a bit of the magic of this show is having the experience yourself, being taken off guard by the comedy, etc. But if that doesn't matter to you, then let's go! The strongest hook of the show is the classic level select world map. The episodes are broken up into main story episodes, also known as the battles with the monsters, defeating them unlocks other worlds, and optional side quest episodes ranging from 1 to 3 minutes, in which you can spend more time with the characters or just get a quick gag. It's even complete with a secret ending if you 100% the show, exhausting the optional content. This structure is close to perfect. I spent so much of my time with the show just watching the chibi sprites run around on the map and searching for hidden sight gags or animations. The world map is an extremely innovative way for the show to wear its influences on its sleeves, and such an engaging, fun part of Battle Kitty's identity. I only have a couple complaints with the world map, which are mostly technical. There isn't a way to restart your progress after completing the show in full. You can always re-watch episodes, but every monster you've previously beaten will already be unlocked. And it kind of stinks that you can't have the organic experience again without using another Netflix profile. Additionally, the map can have finicky interactions with Netflix itself, like if you back out at a weird place, you might have to redo an episode. But those are my only problems. Seriously, I'll take some minor technical issues if it means having one of the most creative setups for a show I've ever seen. I watched Battle Kitty on my PlayStation 5 first, and it was really cool having the experience of using my controller for the episode select. I tried my laptop for comparison, and interestingly enough, I think the map is optimized for PC. The animation seemed even more detailed and lively on this version, which I didn't even know was possible, but I couldn't tell if that was just a smaller screen making everything closer. I think the definitive way to watch this show is on PC with a controller plugged in. I've been going on about the map, as that's the most direct parallel to video games, but the influence is present in a lot of visual aspects of the show. I previously mentioned Miitopia, as it seems to be a strong influence for the character designs, fairly simple 3D models with flat faces slapped on top. This choice can be harder to get used to with characters who have more detailed, sparkly anime eyes, but it absolutely works for Kitty and Orc. Tell me these aren't the most iconic characters you've ever seen, with their clear shape language and streamlined, charming simplicity. Oh my god. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Video game influence can be seen throughout even the smallest visual aspects of this show. Power bows are accessed through an inventory system. A lot of fight scenes feel plucked straight out of Smash Bros. Every monster gets a title screen. 2D platforming is translated really well a few times throughout the show. There are just so many lovely nods to video games. And none of it feels like hollow reference humor or trying to appeal to the kids always on their damn Fortnites. Rather, it's a core part of the show's identity, influencing how this world works as well as a lot of the aesthetics and design elements. Video game influence pops up in the show's score as well, full of absolutely bangin' electronic music composed by Maxo. He previously did some work on Celeste and Crossy Road Castle. The man knows what he's doing. The music helps add to the experience of being in a video game world in a way that's really difficult to describe. Early levels sound breezy and bouncy, and the monster fights always feel appropriately dramatic. My favorite song in the entire show is from a later world that's vaguely pirate-inspired. I shall play 15 seconds of it now. Overall, I think the team's commitment to the video game aesthetic, from the visuals to the audio, down to the fundamental structure of the show, helps shape a really delightful and unique experience. There's nothing else that looks and feels quite like Battle Kitty, fully because it went ham on its vision. Another pillar of this show's identity is its completely unhinged comedy. I mentioned YouTube poop earlier, and I fear some of you might not know what I'm talking about, as I'm actually 150 years old. So, a brief overview on YTP. YouTube poop, or YTP, is a style of editing that is often reliant on awkward pauses and cuts, distortion, and taking a piece of work somewhere far more absurd than it originally went. Sometimes darker, but not always. Battle Kitty is literally a YTP. A lot of the humor comes from extended or repeated cuts, character models flying around, stupid editing jokes, and silly voices. The camera sometimes moves in extremely exaggerated ways. The laws of physics regularly break. He uses sound effects lifted directly from classic memes. And it's all just beautiful. Yet again, not a lot of mainstream cartoons are making a core aspect of their comedy an internet shitpost style from 2011. It's fresh, it keeps you on your toes, it almost always lands for me. What can I say? I'm a sucker for this shit.
Okay, the fire's out now.
And while we're talking about the comedy, I think I should outline the episode that completely sold me on the show, the target monster in Warrior Park. Kitty is struggling to beat this simple monster, a giant target, because they don't know how to shoot a bow and arrow. While practicing, they accidentally shoot someone, this guy Iago, the most concerning character in any piece of media ever. He's completely fine after the arrow, don't even worry about it. And he offers to help train Kitty because he's a bow and arrow god. There's this great running gag where he's constantly forgetting Kitty and Orc's names, and it's so stupid but also perfect.
Kitty flip. Oh, that Kiki's got a lot of spirit.
Okay, sorry,
Goodbye, Jorts.
Kitty is too proud to accept Iago's help, but he's just relentless, a real toxic positivity king. Eventually, Kitty accidentally shoots Iago again, this time directly in the chest, straight up killing him. It is not ambiguous at all, they bury this man. And the next time they try to defeat the target monster, Kitty and Orc are too distraught over Iago's death to do it. Until...
Help you. It's like I can hear him.
Me too.
Help you. Help you. Help Wait a minute. Help you. Help.
I lied to you, bitch. This man faked his own death to teach Kitty a lesson about accepting help. And then they defeat the target monster and all dance. I was absolutely floored by this episode the first time I saw it. I laughed, yes, and I felt truly shocked and unprepared for how smart the comedy of this show was actually going to be, and I was sold on it forever from this moment forth. But my main takeaway from this episode was, what the fuck is Iago's deal? My baby sister and I seriously had a theory that this guy was going to turn super evil eventually, but no, he's just kind of like that. The man shouts his own name like he's a Pokemon, for God's sake. I have to also praise the humor of the mole monster in Kashina Woods. In this episode, Kitty sucks hot shit at whack-a-mole and is very frustrated. They accidentally come across an experimental cloning bow, which Orc has to delete after it sets Kitty literally on fire. but they've accidentally created hundreds of kitty clones. They're all standard little gags on alt-universe kitties, Spider-Ham style, like Old Kitty and Backwards Kitty, which is all fine and bah!
Hello, I'm Michael.
He's just so rendered. Anyway, Kitty uses the opportunity of their clones to beat the mole monster no problem. But of course all the clones want the monster key too. And it is a literal fight to the death, as Orc has to use his deleting ability to murder all the kitty clones. At this point, I was pretty settled in and knew what to expect out of this show, but Michael and Mass Kitty Genocide broke me. It's perfect, no notes. A lot of the humor also comes from taking the piss out of its lesser influences, like anime. There's a lot of dramatic poses and pointing, with their own special monologues to go with. I spent a lot of time just laughing at characters' body language and dialogue because it's so purposely silly. The show is a very loving parody to corny magical adventure anime, and it works really well. However, I must address the baby show allegations. The show's humor can be juvenile, but not in a way that really feels egregious or like it's talking down to its audience. Butts are integral to the show, as creator Matt Lazell told Wired. There's just something about cute little characters shaking their butts. I think there's some ancient magic there. And it doesn't just feel like, oh, a butt is on screen, laugh. The grossest fart jokes are often made by or about Orc's brothers from Orc Island, and the joke always feels like it's at the expense of the Orc King, their dad, who's very proud of these clowns, for some reason. The humor of Battle Kitty is consistently surprising and engaging to me, always trying to outdo itself with how chaotic it can be. The manic energy of the humor somehow manages to not go off the rails, and is pretty consistently hilarious, so long as you don't mind a toot or two. This show is the sweetest thing in the whole damn world. It's a different brand of wholesome from, say, Bluey. It isn't cozy wholesome, it is chaotic wholesome. The heart of the show hinges on the extremely strong friendship of Orc and Kitty. They literally have little pet names for each other.
Hop in, baby boy. Big head bow. Works every time.
Yeah, baby.
And it melts my heart watching them overcome emotional obstacles and just have a journey together.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
All the characters love to dance, and they express their feelings through big dramatic monologues. The two major villains represent toxic masculinity and closing off your feelings. Bullies get shot into the sky with powerful kitty punches. It's all such overwhelming optimism and positivity that I couldn't help but feel moved by. Even rivals are eventually revealed to be lashing out because of their own baggage, and not some kind of fundamental evil within them. Editing Rory here. I know this is an awkward place to interject. I just figured I'd add to what I'm talking about here by going over the Shrimp Monster episode from Neon Cove. This episode features a character who I expressly wanted to avoid talking about because her name is so stupid and I hate saying it out loud. Her name is Zaza Royale. Anyway, Zaza is the daughter of a legendary warrior and antagonizes those who try and stand in the way of her fulfilling her mother's legacy. And in this episode, we see the emotional effects of Zaza living under her mom's shadow. Jealous of Kitty and Orc's abilities, Zaza tries to destroy their power bows with her mom's weapon using one of her famous moves. But it doesn't work. Scrambling, Zaza takes the bows inside and tries the attack over and over and over again to no avail. It's here we see a large painting of Zaza's mother hung directly over her bed. It's not exactly subtle, but it's a haunting image. So yeah, Battle Kitty definitely delves into difficult emotional subject matter with a lot of grace and compassion. Hell, the monsters are just funny little guys too.
Do you have the best weapon to defeat? No, that's not right. Do you have the best weapon?
It's so precious. Cute, bright, and soft are all embraced and celebrated in this show. It's such a treat. Battle Kitty is a very don't kill the cringe, kill the part of you that cringes kind of show. For example, there's a bit on the soundtrack that I believe went unused in the show itself, which is a short Kitty and Orc rap. Which sounds horrible, right? Just on a fundamental level, it seems viscerally cringe. There's no way that could ever not be awful. I may drop the pseudo-intellectualism for a second. Your Honor, I care them. They are just so scrunkily and special to me. The core lessons of working together and offering a helping hand are just so lovely for both people like me watching the show, who can just be charmed seeing it all unfold, and the actual target demographic of 7 to 12-year-olds. Some parents made a huge fuss over this show and all the buts, but what they fail to recognize is the nice life lessons thrown in there, about focus.
Kitty, you can't let Zonma get to you. Just focus on the race.
Telling the truth.
Kitty, is there anything you want to tell me?
Cooperation.
Kitty, do you need some help? Yes, okay then.
The fundamental baby stuff. The unabashed joy and goodness of Battle Kitty's philosophy is another driving factor in why I love it so much. Come on, who wouldn't love to watch a kitty wearing a little bow, fighting monsters with their best friend while they make even more friends and learn extremely wholesome lessons along the way? Going in, I had no idea that there was anything canonically LGBT+ in Battle Kitty, as despite what some of my comment section might say, I do just watch shows for the plot, too. But once I was in it, I couldn't help but feel impressed by the show's representation of queerness. Our main character, Kitty, does not have a canonical gender, and as far as I know, the show never once uses a gendered pronoun to refer to them, and that's a really interesting decision. You can't exactly use their presentation, their cute little bows and princess dress, as an indication of them being a girl, since they're also voiced by a guy, leading to the confusion of many a 10-year-old. I think doing it this way is perfect to not only subtly represent non-binary individuals, but to jab at our conceptions of gender by paralleling Kitty to a real cat. I cannot count the times I have accidentally misgendered my friends' cats or other pets, since it's hard to tell without looking carefully, pointing to how arbitrary the whole gender thing can seem. Battle Kitty also has a queer romance blossom in the main cast between Orc and Iago, the extremely concerning guy from earlier. Orc's crush on him is established early,
I think Yago's cute.
and it is fleshed out in the main quest episodes. You cannot skip over this relationship, which is so crazy since you can skip like half the show. Something this show gets very right about the representation is showing physical attraction, just like they would if this was a straight couple. That sounds like a bare minimum, but you'd be surprised how often children's media tones back the cartoony hearts and awkward blushing when it comes to gay characters. It's just so nice to see queer attraction be recognized as like equal and regular for once. And finally, I might be the only one who cares about this, but it feels worth mentioning. Battle Kitty sidesteps the issues that can sometimes crop up with non-human LGBT+ characters by making Iago human. I have personally always felt alienated when, in a world with human characters, all the queer characters are aliens, robots, fantasy races, etc. I have since recognized the value in these characters in general, as some LGBT+ people greatly identify with non-human identity, but also, don't make those your only queer characters, like, come on. That kind of sends implications about there being no room for sexual variance in human experience. And it was honestly surprising to see Battle Kitty gracefully take the middle ground with this. Queer humans, like the people children are going to meet in their real lives, are real in this world. It's not just an accepted part of orc society or whatever, and it's as valid a type of attraction as straightness. Hell yeah. Series creator Matt Lazell, previously mentioned for the famous butt quote, put a lot of work into this show, far more than typical for a creator. For those unaware, series creators are usually only responsible for the initial idea of the show, as well as maybe doing some concept art, and then further fleshing out and tweaking the concept with a team of other writers and artists. At least that's how it's supposed to work. Please support the Writers Guild of America. But in Battle Kitty's case, Lazell is credited as a lead writer on every episode of the show. He did the voices for Kitty and Orc, which is insanely impressive. The voices of Kitty and Orc are so different and their dialogue is so natural, I had no idea it was one guy on initial watch. He worked closely with his own brother, Paul Lazell, on the production. And all of this makes it clear that Battle Kitty is a passion project through and through. The show started as a series of shorts on Lazell's Instagram in 2016. He's been working at these characters and this world for years. I'm immensely impressed by the work of this small team, and they have my full respect for not compromising their, frankly, insane vision. It's also genuinely inspiring to me as an artist to know that there's a place for this kind of, in some ways, bold art. Battle Kitty sometimes feels closer to a web series than a professional production for a major streaming platform, and I mean that with nothing but love and respect. Contrary to what Netflix says about how much exclusive content they have, Battle Kitty is actually exclusive to their platform, not only using the site's interactive interface, but helping further develop it. This aspect has its downsides, such as the fact that this show is probably never getting a DVD release, but it's still very interesting that it likely wouldn't be able to exist on another platform. Netflix can be, let's say, unkind to animation, especially when it comes to ideas that aren't safe. It's a running joke in cartoon communities that Netflix cancels all their original animated series after 2.5 episodes, and yet Netflix still gave these ideas a chance. After the cancellation of Dead End Paranormal Park, a great horror comedy cartoon that ran for 2 seasons, creator Hamish Steele noted that, "Call me a shill or whatever, but I think something we forget in the whole Netflix cancels everything discussion is they actually commission a hell of a lot of stuff. Yeah, Dead End got canceled, but no other channel was commissioning a horror comedy about a trans kid in 2019? And I think he makes a really good point. When it comes to Battle Kitty, who else would have commissioned essentially a video game that you watch with absolutely absurd, hard-to-market humor and a fancy, probably expensive world map in 3D animation? It's moves like these that really make me believe in the unique value of Netflix and their animation department, if they can manage to get their shit together. For once, just for like a minute. Like, come on! Overall, God man, what a show. I usually don't struggle to express my feelings about cartoons in writing, especially because I try to extrapolate some big adult meaning out of them, and then talk about that instead of my feelings. But I've had a hard time with this one because I'm just like, cartoon good. Battle Kitty has unique humor, a tight gaming influence aesthetic, and a really strong heart at the center of it. If you like video games, the internet, and good fucking vibes, then I really hope you give Battle Kitty a try and see if you become as emotionally invested as I am. As for the future of the show, I am honestly doubtful about the possibility of a season 2, but that doesn't matter as much as the show we have now being recognized. I have been blown away by the lack of information and internet culture around Battle Kitty. Finding footage for this video was a struggle. All the fan art is from only a couple weeks or even days after its initial debut, and I just haven't heard any buzz around the show in general, which feels extremely unprecedented. It is very hard for major streaming shows to fall as under the radar as Battle Kitty has, and I say no more. The crew deserves their flowers for their work, and the people deserve to know that a show this magical even exists. I cannot stress enough how criminal it is that Battle Kitty hasn't had its moment in the spotlight yet, and I hope my overview of the show helped illuminate why.